Sup you beautiful people. Hope you've had a fantastic day. Welcome back to another new episode of What If Naruto Was Justice League's Fire Shadow. If you guys enjoy this what if, comment down below and let me know. And go ahead and check out other what ifs in the channel after watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe and leave a like, and also share this video with your friends. So now let's start this video. The two arrived in time as the heroes and villains were doing a major league throwdown, and Batman managed to find his belt and place it back on, while Naruto quickly recovered his scrolls. The Dark Knight of Gotham was soon engaged by Shade, and Naruto directed his attention to help against none other than Star Sapphire. Apparently the woman was more than ready to finally flatten him for all the flirting he had done to her a while back after she managed to force Green Lantern back. Her overtly enraged response to his arrival only served to drive that particular point home. Finally, "Come here you bastard." Naruto shrugged, and Bruce decided to go on ahead, since it seemed that Star Sapphire had her target sights on the blonde. The woman unleashed several beams at the blonde and Naruto quickly evaded the attacks, and came right at Star Sapphire, who quickly erected a barrier to block his incoming strike. Naruto hit the barrier, and she was about to unleash a massive blast point blank, only for the blonde to explode into a cloud of smoke to reveal a log. "What the? Hi there." The woman turned to see Naruto right in front of her, and she was shocked by that as she had not seen him move that fast before, and she barely had enough time for him to suddenly land a blow on her, a gentle kick to the side of the head, when he allowed himself to drop from the ceiling he had been stepping on. The blow was enough to send Sapphire back as she recovered and summoned her barrier once more as the blonde came at her with one of his swords. The sword smashed hard into the shield, but Naruto quickly summoned his wind chakra, coating the blade, and allowing him to unleash a blast of pure wind chakra that quickly sent her back to the ground and away from him, so she would have to focus on the next hero to show up. Thus he moved to engage the next villain. It happened to be none other than a certain demon hunter. "Now you die." Naruto snorted as he quickly began to trade blows with Astron, who used his mace and his short sword to either smash or cut Naruto down. Naruto was quick to counter most of the blows, and when he was about to be kicked in the jaw, he ducked and landed an elbow strike right in the stomach, and followed up by an uppercut that sent the demon hunter flying backwards. He dropped in a heap, but he quickly showed his endurance as he got up and attacked Naruto again. One ace blow aimed at Naruto's side to shatter his ribs. Naruto quickly moved his sword to block the attack, while Astron struck with another sword strike. Naruto quickly used his armored forearm to block that attack, and quickly guided the blade away before landing a kick to Astron's chest. The blow was enough to send the man back and even drop his mace, but the man quickly reached behind him, and took out what appeared to a gun that is until collapsible arms and a heavy-duty tensile wire appeared. Collapsible crossbow, not too shabby. Less admiring of the enemy's weapon and more of ducking away from said enemy's weapon Naruto. The crossbow bolt flew over Naruto's head as he quickly ducked from the shot, and came in close to attack again. The demon hunter blocked the charge with his still present short sword, and dropped his previous weapon, and moved to taking out another short sword, and attacked with a stab to Naruto's side. Naruto decided to deal with that by charging in and smashing into Astron with a shoulder charge, and sending the man right back from him, before he decided to move quickly, trading sword strikes with the crazed warrior who was now growling like a mad beast at him, before he moved to getting his mace back, after managing to evade a deadly blow that would have decapitated him. The two clashed once more, and Naruto quickly decided to grab one of his other weapons, a trench knife, mirroring the latest Sumisero Tobi. He had made a set of the same metal with Shikamaru in attendance, when his friend was still among the land of the living, and used it well. The weapon now found its way into Naruto's other hand, and he used it to quickly block the next attack of the mace, and used his sword to block the short sword. This was enough to force the two fighters to interlock with one another, when trying to overpower the next, while the League heroes were taking on the other villains with Lex not in sight. Why that was the case he had no idea, but the blonde shinobi had other matters to deal with, so that was going to have to wait. He pushed Astron back and moved in a low attack. The demon hunter prepared to defend himself, only for Naruto to actually leap right at him, and he attacked with both sword and mace. The blows connected, but any satisfaction the demon hunter had was gone as the ninja burst into smoke and was now a log. "Damn. Face me, you cowardly spawn of darkness. How about you shut up and not be a pain in my ass and my ears?" Astron turned to the voice to receive a powerful punch to the chest, which hurt like hell as Naruto quickly flowed up with a quick cut to the forearm, with his chakra-enhanced sword. The blade tore through the armor as Naruto was sure to enhance the cutting edge with wind chakra, and that allowed him to finally wound the demon hunter. Blood flowed from the wound, and naturally this gave the blonde inch of the opening to also strike at the demon hunter, to send him back even more. Needless to say though, the man was not going to give up just yet, even though one of his arms was now nothing more than a crippled limb. I could be healed and restored, but the scar that was the result was going to hard to remove if ever. Astron dropped his sword and moved now to using only his mace. "I demon spawn." Naruto snarled in disgust and decided that he was through playing nice with this crazed nutjob of an assassin and hunter. He wanted to fight him seriously, then fine, game on. The blonde shinobi quickly rushed in at high speed, and before the demon hunter could strike to reduce the head of the shinobi into the proverbial rotten melon, he got his surprise when the ninja vanished into a puff of smoke to reveal a large barrel that crunched under his mace. That lasted only a second though, as he was soon smashed hard into the ground by Ushin Rasengan. Naruto was accompanied by at least 5 other Kage Bunshin, all of whom had Rasengan in their hands. As they drilled the foe, they fought with the original Naruto into the ground, with literally ground-shattering force. Naruto's one-spotty chakra control as a kid back in his realm vanished a long time ago, even more so with his use of Senjutsu and Kurama's chakra. But in order to lull any new foes into some level of complacency, he still used his old way of forming the Rasengan to fool them, along with other techniques that he used as a kid. This had worked a number of times back home when more than one uninformed ninja on either side of the gender line who had dark intent went after him. They learned the lessons the hard way, and he had no intention of changing his style just yet, unless dealing with a foe who understood just what he had been doing earlier. The blonde was not done as he decided to put an end to the guy, so he would not come back to be a major pain in the ass. And how does he plan to do that? He quickly grabbed a number of barrels with one of his chakra chains, and then surrounded the still down demon hunter. He then got the man into a mass of metal barrels, and without batting an eyelash, surrounded the barrels with specially chakra-reinforced ninja wire, and surrounded the mass of metal barrels, and now covered the man in steel. But Naruto was not done as he quickly did some hand seals, and unleashed another jutsu of his own. Kaiten. Hotsunami no Jutsu. A massive wave of fire erupted from his mouth courtesy of Kurama's fire chakra, and soon the metal barrels melted, and quickly turned into one massive spherical mass of molten metal. But before anyone could say that Naruto was going to cook him alive in such a mass of superheated metal, the blonde did several more hand seals in rapid succession, and then unleashed another jutsu. Suten. Tsunami no Jutsu. A massive wall of water came out, and it was also super cold to boot, so when it hit the molten mass of metal, it quickly cooled the mass, and steam erupted all over the area. Once the metal cooled, the demon hunter was now secured and no longer a threat, unless he had the same abilities of Obito Uchiha and the Sharingan, and Naruto rather doubted that. He turned his attention elsewhere, and spotted Kori fighting with Star Sapphire, while Diana was tangling with Copperhead, who managed to see him and give him a seductive smirk and a flick of her tongue, all of which creeped him out. But he focused on dealing with a new threat, that threat in question being none other than Grundy, who apparently still had a serious axe to grind with him. And this time he was now under orders to deal with the league, with naturally included him. You? Grundy not forget you. Be going to end you and go back to petting the pretty kitty. That was a really bad idea. The way that Grundy said that last line warned Naruto that something had happened to Barbara, and when he reached out with his chakra senses, he felt her signature, but what he felt was very disturbing. He moved further and to his anger and shock, felt that she was in immense pain, and her life was fading. That angered Naruto as Grundy came in to smash him. Only for Naruto to catch his fists in both hands, and then he opened his eyes to look at Grundy, and he was in Senjutsu mode, and he was not holding back. He cast aside Grundy's fists and unleashed one mean left hook covered with Senjutsu chakra and shouted, "What did you do to her?" Wham! The blow from Naruto connected and literally stopped Grundy's charge cold and sent him flying backwards. The zombie smashed hard into a number of crates, as the angered shinobi was ready for a real fight. Grundy got up and roared to attack, but got no chance to do so, as Naruto closed the gap and slammed a powerful sidekick to his head, hitting Grundy with a great deal of force as he was sent flying backwards. Naruto turned and came right at him and landed a nasty elbow strike into the gut, and slamming Grundy hard into the nearby wall as he shouted, "What did you do to her?" The zombie growled only in response, and that only served to enrage Naruto, as his Senjutsu mode told him that Barbara was in utterly terrible shape, and her life was getting weaker. This made Naruto decide to end this fight as he summoned his Rasengan, only this one was the Adama version, and slammed it right into Grundy's chest with explosive force. The blow literally blasted Grundy through the wall. Oh, but Naruto was not done yet, not by a long shot. The League and the Injustice Gang by extension were about to find out what happens when Naruto no longer relied on releasing killer intent, but was on full-on killing intent mode. He quickly used it and without any hesitation, appeared in the blink of an eye next to Grundy, and slammed his fist right into the zombie's face, literally smashing him hard into the ground with enough force to actually crack the floor, and Naruto quickly dove in with yet another Rasengan in his hands. Only this one was far more concentrated and enhanced by Senjutsu, and the result was nasty. If it was not for the fact that he was magically supported by the curse that made him and would bring him back to life, then Grundy would have been reduced into, well, bug splattered on windshield was the best way to phrase it. Of course, that did not mean the blow did not have results, as the massive cloud of dirt and shattered masonry was all over the place, and the zombie was now in one large crater, with the shinobi right on top of him, his eyes still burning with wrath as he grabbed the zombie, and literally shook him around like a rag doll. "What did you do to her, you walking pile of worm food?" Grundy refused to speak, only enraging Naruto as he quickly blew air into his hand and created a blade of pure wind chakra, a technique he had learned that had once been used by the Warhawk Danzo when he fought Sasuke. The blade rent into Grundy's body, easily spilling blood and flesh, but the being was still alive, as Naruto then summoned another Kage Bunshin, and then the two of them slammed two Rasengan in each of their hands right into Grundy, smashing him hard into the wall. The zombie groaned at the damage as Naruto once more grabbed him and shook him around like a rag doll. "Answer me right the hell now or I will make you wish you stayed dead." The zombie growled and finally spoke once more. "Grundy no like you." Grundy tried to smash a fist into Naruto, but the blonde was not in the mood for games, and he smashed the hand down with a kick and replied, "Well, I don't like you either, you walking corpse," and smashed a haymaker into Grundy's face, a Senjutsu chakra enhanced haymaker to be sure, and that finally did it as Grundy was out cold like a light again. Naruto growled and looked at the Injustice gang who were wide-eyed. Even Luther was looking at him with greater wariness now, and he spouted, "When I find out whom and you let this bastard do that to Cheetah, I am going to make you wish you were in prison for the rest of your life." He then glared darkly at Joker, who had tried to escape earlier, but was held down by the stare, which was similar to Batman but more brutal in appearance, even more so with Grundy's blood on Naruto's mask. "And Joker, I will ram a Rasengan up your ass the second I catch again. Count on it." Naruto however wasted no time as he quickly left to find Cheetah and help her, which the League, who recovered from seeing their partner go berserk on Grundy, and went back to fighting the other Injustice gang members. And soon they were all rounded up, even more so when Ultra Humanite revealed his little switch of alliances, after he stunned Luther who had focused solely to attack Superman. However, one female villain was not shocked by what happened. Copperhead was utterly impressed and whistled in appreciation at the sight of Naruto going berserk on Grundy. Unlike the others who were surprised by the sight, she was actually getting turned on by seeing this. Heck, she did not know any better, her panties were getting wet just by looking at the beatdown. Now that is a man. I'm so going to jump his bones once I get the hell out of the joint. That train of thought still remained with her, even as the League finally began to drag them away to be sent to prison. It was also here that it was revealed that Ultra Humanite was the one who had called the League, and had now decided to collect on his promised pay from Batman. And being a man of honor, Batman Bruce was more than willing to deliver, much to the rage of Luther. The blonde shinobi was not interested in what was going on back there right now, as he began to move to find Cheetah, and it was not long before he saw the signs he dreaded. One part of the warehouse area leading to what would be the back looked like a bomb went off, and there was something he did not like seeing. Blood. There was a fair amount of it nearby, and some smaller and slightly larger pools nearby, not a good sign in the blonde's mind. He homed in once more to get one finally feel. Naruto did not like the sight of Cheetah like this in her injured state, and through his connection with Kurama, he could easily sense that her life force was not stable. That coupled with her very obvious fatal injuries made it obvious. He then decided that he was going to use his friend's chakra to try and save her life. And with that in mind, he gathered Cheetah up in his arms carefully, and then moved to a safer location, namely into the forested areas outside of the city, all the while being gentle to avoid aggravating her injuries. He however made sure to leave a Kage Bunshin to inform the others of what he was doing. Once he was clear and in the said part of the city, he placed her down and looked at her gently, angered that Grundy had done this to her under Lex's orders. He was really going to make that bald idiot wish that he had died by kryptonite poisoning than by his hands. Clark's anger be damned. But that could wait. He tapped into Kurama's chakra, and also a bit of Senjutsu to try and heal, as well as stabilize Barbara, as her breathing became labored and blood flowed from her mouth and nose. "Kurama, how bad?" "Pretty bad. Sadistic nut broke a number of her bones. I can also sense a lot of internal bleeding, plus a punctured lung, and also severe damage to her liver, as well as some serious nerve damage. Plus dislocation injuries to boot. Damn bastard to do this to anyone. Can we heal her?" "Yeah, I can sense that she has a healing factor, but for injuries like those, I doubt it is going to cut it. There's a risk though." "Since when did I care about risk?" "Ugh, never mind kid, let's do this then." The blonde summoned his chakra cloak, and soon placed the energy on top of Cheetah's heaving chest, which showed uneven areas, no doubt due to the broken ribs. Her coughing began to calm down, and the pain on her face began to fade away, and she looked at him. Her stare of easing pain lifted his heart a bit more, but he knew that well he could stabilize and heal many of her near-fatal injuries. Her body's wounds began to seal up, and he began to gently place her broken bones back into alignment, even though she was crying out in pain at this. He looked sadly at Cheetah and did what he could to make sure that she was able to recover from this. And she was crying in the pain, but the crying began to subside, and she seemed to be calmer. He tapped into the chakra of his Senjutsu training and that of Kurama as well. The combined chakra along with his own began to flow into Barbara, and he could feel her injuries beginning to heal, and he was pleased. Of course, it was also at that moment that he sensed a massive spike of power coming from Barbara, and her gasp of shock as well, despite the fact she was not exactly conscious. "What the?" She convulsed for a few moments, and Naruto quickly sensed a large amount of energy flowing through her body, but it was not his chakra he was feeling. "Well, this is new." "No kidding. If this is what I think it is." Naruto, you know better than to doubt what it is you are feeling. It is what it is. Not exactly the risk I thought it was going to be, but in hindsight it is one. Explain. We can talk about that later. Better to scratch that. This just got complicated even more. Kurama was right on that, as Naruto noted that Cheetah was undergoing some very interesting changes, but he decided to focus on healing her better. The new looks would have to wait, and it seemed that Kurama was in agreement with the plan. Once he was done, he powered out his chakra, and saw that she was recovering now. The most fatal injuries were dealt with, but she still needed to recover. However, there was one little problem. No way would a hospital, an official one, would take her in, and I sure as hell don't trust those underground ones. If Tsunade Abasan or Sakura Koi saw how they did things there, they'd have gone ballistic. There's only one place that can handle that without alerting the cops, kid, and you know it. Yeah, well, time to call it in. Hokage, hear anyone on this line? Starfire answered that question easily enough. Friend Hokage. It's glorious to hear your voice again. Same to you, Starfire. Better call the gang to have the medical bay in the tower ready. I've got a patient coming in. The meeting room hours later. Batman was none too happy about the topic of discussion that he and the others in the League were discussing, the aftermath of the battle with the League. The point of this meeting though was more on what to do with the now recovering Barbara Ann Minerva. She was currently in the medical bay of the Watchtower when she had been brought in by Naruto. Needless to say, they were quite shocked to hear that he had brought her to them, but after he relayed what happened to them, were naturally not happy with what they heard. Batman of course wanted to verify if what Naruto said was accurate, and naturally he had to recount everything. Well, John verified it. He made it perfectly clear that he didn't like having to do this at all, but only did so in order to make sure that everything was indeed the truth. Thankfully, John not only kept to the task at hand, but had proven without a doubt that Naruto was correct in his report on the extent of Cheetah's injuries prior to her being taken here. Thus here they were. The Dark Knight stared at Naruto intensely and spoke. Come again. She now has chakra. Yes, I did heal her injuries using chakra, since her own healing factor was not exactly going to help with the level of injuries she had. By all rights, even with her ability to heal, the injuries would have outright killed her, but apparently when it kicked in, it allowed her body to develop her own chakra circulatory system. And while it's not yet certain, she has a fair amount of it growing in her now. How much are we talking about? Naruto shook his head and replied. Not certain yet on that front. This does not happen often in my world as far as my knowledge goes, but then again, I'm not in my world now, am I? All I can say is that her body is now creating a small growing pool of chakra, but it's still unfocused and thus not easy to tap into, so don't expect her to start chucking out jutsu all of a sudden. I also don't know how much she has in her reserve, yet so until that is sorted out, it's not that big an issue. Superman spoke next. Would that make her a lot more dangerous? Naruto shook his head and the negative display and explained. Not really. Even if you have chakra, you need to train to draw it out, and then use it in anything. Even then, that is not something you can do perfectly. Like I said when I joined, you may have your own chakra reserve, Superman, but since you don't use it or even knew about it until now, you can't exactly turn it on. Chakra ain't a light source you can turn off like that when you activate it. And considering I am the only user of chakra right now, since the ones I read about tap into it differently, I'm pretty much in the right here, even more so if you recall that it was the chakra I have that triggered the change when I healed her. The others considered that, and Batman spoke again. That can be discussed a bit later. It still begs the question on what to do with her. She is technically listed as critical right now in the public's view while here with us, so that leaves her as our responsibility. Diana spoke next. I read what I could on her, and though she has stolen before, quite a number of times, she has not yet taken a life. And her reason for doing all of this is to cure herself of her changes and return to some semblance of normalcy. So while she is a criminal, she has not taken far more drastic action that would have her become far more dangerous than most. John then gave his thoughts. I have managed to sense her thoughts while sleeping, though gently so as not to cause her any more mental trauma. She feels great guilt at having to live this life and wants to go back to being normal, but knows that she has people who would try to use her data, and even what she had done is a weapon or worse. She is not a criminal by nature, only necessity, something that can be changed, but because of what happened to her, she is slow to trust. Batman nodded a bit, taking it all in. He recalled his own experiences in that front, dealing with Langstrom, and that man who turned Selena into an actual Catwoman. That one incident was still a deadly reminder to him of the dangers of tampering with genetics. But he kept in mind that prior to his rebellion, Tigris was a formidable foe, and had pushed him as badly as some of his other foes, such as Bane. But he also knew that if there was some way to weaponize the process that Langstrom or Barbara had done, then it would make sense that private corporations, and even rogue elements in government, would want to make their own army of super soldiers. This meant that she would still be a target, which was why he made sure to have her watched and discovered that her old company had a bounty on her return, alive or dead. He knew the implications of that very well and did not like it one bit. Naruto then spoke. Give her a second chance. Come again. Look, she became a career thief to go back to being a normal person, and when I tangled with her, I can tell that she loathed herself for what she had to do and what she became. An old saying I heard is that the way to hell is paved by good intentions, and she certainly has been through enough. Batman was not keen on giving up though, as he wanted to make sure that they were not doing something that would come back to bite them in the ass. You can't expect her to change right away, Hokage. Naruto sighed and replied, I know, believe me, but she has a chance that few have, and she is not an evil person to begin with. She did what she did to try and cure herself, and believe me, she is not the first person I met with such a desire in my world, and she will not be the last. We should at least help her before her path takes her to the point that she becomes either so willing to find a cure that she becomes a true criminal, or becomes so enraged that she can't be cured, but she will lose whatever morality she has, and become exactly the monster people see her to be. Naruto looked at the others and spoke seriously. Like I said before, I have met others who have been through the same pain and situation as Cheetah has, and here we have the chance to help her find a way to live a normal life which she is what she wants. Don't tell me you guys never did something wrong and you want to have a second chance, right? Superman was the most affected by this, and recalled not merely his own experience with Darkseid, but also with Volcana. He had worked hard to prove that he was no longer that beast who invaded Earth, and he recalled what Volcana told him of her life, which was why she did what she did to live. She was still on that island, and he hoped that she would not go back to that life, though he knew such a life was tempting to say the least. I have to agree with Hokage on this. She does deserve a chance to change and get a better chance at life. If we can give her that chance, then why can't we? Batman responded to that. Because we have to make sure that her desire to change is genuine and not a cover that can allow her to get the drop on us when we least expect it. The others took that into consideration, as the caution that Batman had in him was in a sense warranted, as there had been more than one instance that someone who was given a second chance went back to their old habits, something Batman and Superman knew all too well. Naruto was very much understanding of their stances, Batman's most of all, since it made sense to him more than most. Still, let it not be said that if Batman was stubborn, Naruto was too, and his long history could attest to that fact plenty. In the medical ward of the Watchtower, Arbor could not help but stare in absolute shock at her state, and for good reason, since unlike her previous state, she was changed. The tail was still there to be sure, but her originally cat-like face had turned into a more human-like one. In fact, it was downright shocking to her, and not in a bad way. She had hair again in the same shade of yellow as that of the cheetah, but was like that of a regular human. She had a more prominent series of black streaks that were between her eyes as well. Her ears were more human, like with only a light pointing on the upper portions. The formerly prominent feline features on her face faded to reveal a very much human face, and the face in question was actually quite appealing. And she was not going to complain anymore, as she felt the smooth fur there on her face, as well as the high cheekbones and feminine features. As she did not know any better, she looked like one of those cat girls in the Japanese anime shows she saw back then as a kid. That was not the only thing, as well as her body had gained something of a boost in muscle mass, and yet be slender and very much feminine, and a bit of an increase in height, not much, but she was at least an inch taller than before. And if her eyes were working right, she had also gained quite a bit of size and firmness on her bust. Hell, she was well stacked in the right way, and they even moved naturally as well. The most telling was that the fur on her body was become much finer, and also shorter to the point that she could not tell the difference between the hair and her skin. In fact, when she ran her hands on her body, she could not tell the difference, as the hair was so fine it was almost not there. What happened to me? I can answer that provided you don't freak out. Arbor turned, and there was the Hokage. Only difference was that he had no mask hiding his face, allowing her to see his face, and he was well interesting indeed. Heck, he was very handsome to her view, and the whiskers on his face were appealing to the feline side of her, even if they seemed more in like with the whiskers of a fox than a cat. That was when she realized one thing: she was naked, and unlike before, her body was not covered in fur like before. Pervert. Naruto sighed as she got to grab a nearby sheet, and quickly grabbed the nearest item she could throw at him. This mirrored the time he had waltzed into Sakura changing clothes in the hospital one time, and she was naked too, and had gotten angry and clunked him on the head with a surgery pan close at hand. He dodged the pan and spoke gently. Look, calm down and relax. I won't hurt you, plus you are still recovering. Naruto's warning proved fairly accurate, as Barbara felt her limbs go slack and she nearly fell, dropping her intended weapon with a clang. She tried to catch herself, only for the blonde to suddenly move right to her side and catch her before she hit the floor. She was wide-eyed at how fast he moved, sure the Flash was the fastest man alive, but still surprised her to see the blonde move like that. Barbara also flushed bright red when she realized how close he was to her right now, and up close. God, he looks so yummy, damn it, Barb, get a grip. Of course, that was her human side. Her feral side, on the other hand, well, let's just say that the pussycat was out to play, and it was in the mood to have fun. Okay, look, you are not in danger, and I would not hurt anyone just fresh from healing and recovery. So please let me take you back to the bed and we can talk, okay? Arbor weakly nodded, but at least he could tell that she was calm now, and he soon took her up bridal style to carry her back to the bed nearby. That naturally made the recovering woman's cheeks burn, and she could not help but react a bit by looking at him. God, the whole thing was testing his nerves as he could feel her body heat coming from her form. The form that apparently had undergone some changes due to his actions. It hardly helped matters when he could smell the pheromones that were coming out of her right now. The term cat in heat literally applied here, and judging from the staring she gave him, oh boy. In the recesses of his mind, the blonde could swear that Kurama was laughing his fur off at the situation he was in. It was going to be a long discussion. Later, Barbara could not help but try her best to make some level of sense of what she had just been told by the blonde. Apparently, in order to save her life as she had been in death's door, he had infused her with an amount of the energy he used to do his techniques. This chakra had actually helped heal much of her injuries, even though by all rights she would have died. She was not full-scale trauma surgeon, but the information she got from the blonde was pretty grim. And to know that this energy he used saved her from death was pretty shocking. No one had ever done that to her before. But apparently the chakra did more than heal her. Apparently it somehow infused into her body and had altered her, but not in turning her further into a beast, but did all these changes on her. Okay, you saved my life and somehow did this to me. Naruto gave a nod and scratched the back of his head, as he had to admit that this was really new to him. Yes, not exactly what I intended, but apparently what you did to yourself seemed to have given your formerly inactive or rather unused chakra network some changes. Not enough to produce chakra right away, mind you, but apparently it allowed your body to accept my chakra. No doubt the healing factor that you have due to the changes you made somehow allowed your body to adjust further. That energy I heard you can use. Yep, when I infused you with the healing chakra, apparently your body adjusted to the energy and somehow, the healing chakra I used on you to save your life, not only restored your limbs, healed your organs, and even healed and reset your bones, but somehow altered your looks, and allowed your body's chakra network to somehow evolve to the point you can use chakra like I can. Caught me with my pants down, not literally mind you, but you get the idea. That surprised the hell out of Barbara, but she decided to let the blonde continue. I took the liberty of checking just what your chakra level is when you fully stabilized a few days ago, and I can say that you have enough to put you around low level to mid level Chunin. What do you mean by all of that? Naruto sighed and decided to give the short version, and when she showed that she was able to get the gist of the whole thing, he carried on by telling her that she was now able to use chakra, but not yet to the point of someone like him, definitely like him. But she was able to live again and recovered from what would have been her end. Had she not seen him use those techniques herself and had been brought back to life from death's door, she would have thought the guy was yanking her chain or in this case, her tail. But she could tell that the blonde was serious. She ran the data through her mind and looked at the blonde was looking deep in thought and decided to venture a question. Look, I want to thank you for saving my life. No one ever did something like that for me, ever since I used that serum and began my life as what I am now. But I have to ask, why did you do it? Naruto gave a slightly annoyed look and replied. Because unlike most of those guys in Luther's Looney Tunes gang, you are not an evil person by nature. I can sense that in you. Yes, you robbed and did some other crimes, and you injured people, but you did it to find a way to cure yourself of this, and you never killed anyone in cold blood. If you had, then I would certainly not have helped you, and before you ask how I can say that, let's just say that I not only looked up your files, but I also sensed your mental and emotional state, and saw that you're not an evil person. How? It's a long story and we don't have a lot of time to go into that, but I can say that what I did was to help you. You did what you did to try and help people, Miss Minerva. You mind if I call you that for now, or would you prefer Barbara or Barb? Sure, Barbara will do fine. Naruto smiled, and Barbara had to admit that with the whisker marks, he looked very appealing in a feral manner. She shook that aside and Naruto continued. You're not the first person I know of who did hybridization of humans and beasts, but unlike you who did that to help people, the guy used it to create living weapons, and did not care if the subjects lived or not. All he cared about was the data he got and just let a number of those victims die. Those who do somehow survive were no better off though, as they were either hideously changed physically or mentally scarred to the point they would have preferred death. Or like one case who I will not speak of, think that they had all the power they wanted without realizing that the formula was incomplete, and nearly died when it wore out, much to the amusement of said bastard. The former scientist blanched at that idea. She had done this to try and help people to fight disease and sickness, not create living weapons. And certainly not treat lives like they were just a dime a dozen. She was a scientist, not a sociopath. Naruto was more than able to see that and was pleased that unlike Orochimaru, Barbara was able to show genuine horror and disgust at what he had just told her. That was most definitely a good sign, so he decided to carry on and hope for the best. And I know for a fact now that the reason you rob is to find enough money to cure yourself, but of course the former company you worked for will not let you off the hook that easily. You have not taken a human life so far, and that is because if you did, then they will have all the more ammunition on you to have the authorities increase their efforts in capturing you. And no doubt they would try to use your DNA to recreate what you did for their own purposes, am I right? Barbara could not help but feel that he had hit the nail on the coffin. Another reason why she wanted to find a cure was to disappear once and for all, so that what she had done and what she knew would never be used by her former company ever again. She had learned enough of Langstrom's fate, and also from her personal experience, what would people do if they could somehow weaponize what she had made, and that she did not want. If she did take a life, she would have moved from thief to murder, and that would have gotten her into the list of criminals that the whole world's law enforcement would have chased to catch. And if they did capture her, then who knew what would happen? Okay, but what happens now? Now we have to talk about your future. That made her all the more curious as well as a bit more concerned. What future are you talking about? Naruto sighed a bit and spoke once more. Alright, long story short, since you were at death's door, you were listed in critical condition and survival odds at pretty much 0. Now that you are alive, there's pretty much 2 options for you. The first one is that you are sent to spend time in Belle Reve, along with the others of Luther's bunch. And I know for a fact that it's not going to be pleasant, since technically the one who put you at death's door is there too. And knowing Mr. Zombie, he might decide to finish the job. Barbara growled darkly at that, recalling the things Grundy had done to her that left her close to death. Naruto did not stop her from venting her anger as he understood her emotions. It reminded him a lot of the times he had been on death's door himself, so he knew the feeling. The other option is we list you as dead, since no one knew about you being here on the watchtower, and give you a new identity and a new life where you can start over, since you were technically going to be listed as dead, if I had not saved your life. That floored Barbara and she spoke in shock. How did you want to do that, Iwai? Like I said, you have a second chance because you are not a career criminal. You're someone who did what you did to help people, but got dealt a bad hand, and you're trying to change that. I argued your case to the league for a long while actually, and I did promise to help you in any way that I can. Took me quite a bit of time to get them to give this a shot, but it worked. Of course all Batty wants me to make damn sure that this does not come to bite us all in the neck. Choice is all on you though, so think it over and take your time. Barbara was once more stunned, but not as much as before. She looked at the blonde to see if he was lying, and yet again finding that there was no trace of him lying at all. She looked at the blonde intently once more to see if she was missing something that cannot blow this up and show if it was the truth or not, and once more found out that he was not lying. There was something about him that seemed to make her want to trust him, and that in itself was a real test of her logic, which had been tuned to her survival. And of course she lived by the old adage, if something sounds too good to be true, it usually was. But when it came to the Hokage, well, she realized that logic at times could not always be counted on when it came to the feelings one had in them. This was the first time anyone had ever offered her a chance with no inner motive, unlike the time she had tried to find anyone in her old company to help her, only for them to have her labeled a monster and escaped weapon to be captured. She looked at herself once more in the mirror, still marveling at the sudden changes she had been subjected to, but instead of being angry at this she had to admit that compared to her old form, this was a lot less stressful. And the fact that she was alive because of the Hokage made her less wary of the man. Alright, Naruto raised an eyebrow and decided not to comment at that, as he was aware that she had yet to give her thoughts and full idea on the matter of the offer. Alright, what exactly, Barb? I'll take the offer if this is the chance to finally stop doing what I do, then I will take it. Naruto looked at her carefully and gently probed with his chakra, thanks to Kurama to sense that she was being serious about wanting to take the offer. And he was pleased to see that she was indeed serious. That made him lower his wariness, and he began more relaxed around her. That's good to know. I will send that message to the rest of the league. By the way, I want to ask you something. That being, are those whiskers of yours real? Yes. Can I touch them to be sure? Naruto raised his eyebrow at the request and nodded. That gave Barbara the courage to run her hand on his whiskers, and to her amusement, he actually purred at that contact. She actually found that very attractive and continued to make more movements on his whiskers, marveling at the fact that they were indeed real and not some form of decoration, and enjoying the fact that he was purring like a large cat. Naruto gave her a mock glare and spoke to her. Okay, now that you have your fun, care to stop now? Barbara smiled a bit at that and decided to do so and waited for the blonde to speak once more on what else happened to her. Naruto was pleased that she had stopped and ignored Kurama's laughter at how she had made him purr. He was so going to get the fox back sooner or later. But back to the matter at hand. Okay, Barbara, one of the things I have to make clear that since you've agreed to this, I have to serve as your Ugminder, case officer. I think you get the idea. I did vouch for you to have a second chance after all, so you will have to stay at a residence near my city as it were. We're going to give you a new identity, but you can keep your first name if you want. Barbara thought about it carefully and decided to reply as she knew that this was her first step to a new life. Alright, but what do I do in the meantime? I mean, I can't exactly be a freeloader. Naruto nodded in agreement and replied. Well, you are a doctor, correct? You can try and pick up on that. We can set you up as a doctor or a medical researcher in some of the hospitals in Los Angeles, since they are always in need of new doctors. Or you can go back to trying to find some new ways to help people. That is exactly what you wanted to do before this all happened after all. I don't see why you can't go back to doing it again. Only this time, you have a better chance than before. You can start a new Barbara here, and now it's up to you though. Barbara could not help but think even more on this matter, as well as the offer before her and what it would mean. She had a chance to start over, use her talents and mind for the very same thing that inspired her to be a scientist in the first place. To help people. And unlike before, she knew just what to not do that would get her back to square one, since she could now access much better facilities and equipment, and she could now no longer be chased by her former employers. All in all, it was a win-win all around for her, though it was still a pain in the neck for her to have to not be able to be fully human again. Even if her newfound form as a hybrid of a human and a cat was kind of nicer, which was an improvement when one compared to her old one right now, since she was more human-like than cat-like. However, Naruto decided to see if she would be willing to try an experiment that involved her chakra at some point, so she could have a much better chance of being able to blend in. But for now he decided to wait for her decision, and then they would pass the decision to the rest of the league afterwards. Well, they needed to get her a place to live. Alright, I accept the offer. A chance to find a way to cure myself without having to be a criminal, and have a fresh start is something I want. If you guys in the league are willing to do this for me, then I would have to be a fool to say no. Naruto gave a warm smile, and Barber had to admit that seeing the whiskered blonde smile at her like that was kind of nice, not to mention. No, now is not the time. That however did not escape Kurama's attention as the chakra-born entity snickered to himself a few days later. Barber was silent, but her silence was not born from anger or from fear, but from shock and disbelief as she was looking at her mirror to her reflection. And for good reason, her face was now human. Her old human face was looking back at her, showing the very same level of shock and awe right back at her. She ran her hands on her face and even felt her teeth with her tongue, finding that her canines were now back to normal human length. Her eyes were human again, her hair was back to the dark brown shade they had been before the accident, yet was more thick and rich in color. Her ears were also back to normal, and seemed to be a lot better proportioned as well. It was not her face that underwent the changes, either her entire body was now fully human again. Her tail was gone, her fur-covered skin was fully human again, no fur, no spots, her fingernails were now human length, along with her toenails. Yet her body was still very well built for speed, agility, and power, with the same feral grace that she had in her cat form. Plus even her breasts were now full and perfectly proportioned, as well as moving quite naturally when she moved them. She was not exactly top-heavy, but damn. Hell, had she not been able to see this for herself, she would have thought she was seeing things. She had a body that was at least a level lower than Wonder Woman's beautiful perfect figure, but certainly more than enough to get attention. She ran her hands on her body once more, hardly daring to believe that she was really feeling her body like this, totally ignoring the blonde who was currently watching her. Naruto could not help but smirk in an amused manner as he observed Barber getting used to the special henge jutsu that he had learned from Tsunade. It was a little something he picked up much later in his life, and while not exactly the best way to disguise Barber, since her control over it was not perfect as Tsunade was, it was a lot better than nothing. Plus, he did figure out how Barber could disguise herself better, since she could not only disguise herself in her previous human self, but others as well. And he liked the view right now. Barber had decided to stay with him in his place until she was not only able to have her own place, but to train in using her newfound chakra abilities, which meant using jutsu. Naturally, Batman is adamant that she did not learn any lethal techniques from Naruto, and he agreed, minding that by technical terms, since Barber was a foreign national, and not technically part of the village he was from, he was forbidden to train her in any higher ranking jutsu, with the marked exception of those that were acceptable. No way was he going to teach her anything like the Hirasen or the Rasengan, or even Kami forbid the Ito Tenchi. The fact that her chakra reserve was not very high and her control was not up to par for such jutsu at this time helped as well. Kori was not quite keen on having her among them, but soon got along splendidly with the former super-villainess, which was acceptable since Starfire, or rather Kori, was a very friendly sort of person. Plus Barber was showing that temper aside, she was a nice person overall. The only problem he had right now was that even with her return to something more human in form and looks, Barber had gotten so used to being naked due to her fur from her past form covering her for years, that she had problems wearing clothes again. So that usually meant that she cavorted around naked like Kori did every now and then. Even more so here, since when she was told how the jutsu could disguise her, she insisted that she saw herself in full again. So now he had two naked women walking in his pad, both drop-dead gorgeous. One an alien princess, and the other a literal cat girl. And if added, it would be three since Pamela usually came there to his place every now and then, so that meant that he had a literal green goddess as an extra if not frequent resident. He just knew Jiraiya was having a field day up there in heaven somewhere right now. Kami, he hoped that his mom and Tsunade were keeping him in check. His thoughts on said matter were cut short though when Barber spoke to him. How? It's a special henge technique that I learned from an important person in my life. She is long gone now, but it helped her many times. And I figured you can use this well, mind you Barber, it's not easy to maintain, and you're not as skilled with it yet, so time and training is needed. I can already tell it is fading away now. And sure enough, the henge did fade away, and soon Barber was back to her cheetah form, the more human-like cheetah form to be sure. Barber was not quite pleased with the results of her being unable to stay permanently in the disguise, and Naruto knew it, but decided to speak to her once more. Don't let it get to you, Barber. It's not like you can expect to be perfect at it in one go. She told me that it took a while to get the control of the henge right, so I should expect the same for you, since you only started training in chakra at least a few days ago. You can use it to take a younger or older look as well as various hair and eye colors, so it will be hard to pin you down if you are in a crowd. But you will need to make sure to focus your control more and match the picture you might use on an ID. It would be weird if you say your new name but have a different look after all. Barber nodded a bit at that and soon began to try again with using her chakra. Ever since she stayed with Naruto, she had been introduced to Starfire in a more personal level, and had to admit that she was really different from most. Being an alien princess in exile was a bit of a dead giveaway, but her openness was surprising, along with the fact that she appeared to like being naked when she was in the house. That was only enhanced by the fact that she was confused by human prudishness, as she put it, since she could tell that they had a lot interest in sex, but were embarrassed by nudity at the same time. She wondered just how the Hokage handled that on a regular basis, though that might explain why he was such a flirt. That and her penchant for eating a lot of food, Cory was actually really nice and openly friendly, and despite the fact they were originally on opposing sides, seemed to accept her since Naruto did. How the guy got her trust was interesting, as she never met Cory, but what impressed her more was the fact that Naruto had not taken advantage of Cory at all. Most men would love the situation the blonde was in, but he seemed to be able to resist it. There was also Raven. When she was introduced to the other housemate, she was a bit unnerved by Raven, call it intuition, but something about Raven sent her on edge, even though she never met her, let alone heard of her to be fair. She was the exact polar opposite of Cory, and certainly was not as open to the idea of having someone else join this place. Barber did however like the intellectual side of the goth girl, and suspected that the feelings of wariness she had when it concerned Raven was because she was still unknown to her. And as a scientist, Barber was not comfortable with unknowns, even more so when it was clear to her that Raven was not part of the league, as she had never appeared, only Cory had. But since it was clear that Naruto and Cory accepted her among them, then perhaps she was not as bad as the now on probation woman felt. Still, she would be wary and ready for anything that may very well happen. Right now though, Raven was busy reading some new books that Naruto had bought her, and Cory was currently enjoying a good bath after a long run of fighting crime with Hokage in the field. She so far had not yet gotten word on where she would be working as a cover for her new identity, but she was willing to make the most of it all, until she could be on her own. Though hanging out with people who did not judge her for her looks was something she was happy to have, even though this was a lot to take in, and hopefully she can get used to being close to someone like Raven. Okay, so what is next? Naruto rubbed his chin a bit while taking that same thoughtful expression he adopted in his youth, making him look like a fox scratching his chin, which made Barber smirk at the sight, since it was something that she did not see so often. But she naturally did not interfere with his train of thought. After all, the blonde was the one who knew more of chakra than she did. Well, best we focus on determining the level of your control on your chakra, but that's after we get another idea on the baseline amount you have. Important, I take it. Yep, even if your control is high level, your reserves of chakra have to be at a good level to make higher level jutsu work. If it's not enough, you get tired faster when you use them, so you may need to build on it. In a sense, you are luckier than most. How so? Well, your ability to heal faster to adjust to the fact you now have chakra helps you greatly, since this also means you can recover chakra faster. Most ninja back home I met who are not high-ranking ninja usually are on bed rest for a week to at least half a month, depending on how much chakra they use. So your ability to heal and recover certainly helps. Barber took it in, and soon they began to train again, and it was all good progress as Barber had begun to feel the energy again. When she tapped into it the first time she began to train, she could not help but feel it was hard to describe at first. But now she could describe it as feeling a warm flowing liquid that was powerful but harmless moving through her, a wave of warmth and power that she had never felt before. As soon as she summoned enough of the energy, Naruto moved to scan her using his senjutsu training. Not too shabby, a fair amount, higher than most senior chunin from back home, though not that high enough. Still, for someone who just newly awakened her chakra energy, this is pretty impressive. Thanks, I guess, so what can you teach me? Naruto turned off his chakra mode and was about to reply when Cory came in with some food and drink, and she was as usual, all smiles and being the perky patch of sunshine, or starshine that she was. Greetings, friend Naruto, friend Shida, I have brought something to eat. Naruto chuckled at that, and even Barber had to smile a bit as they got from their position to try some of the food, and it was good to know that the food was edible, and not like what Starfire favored. Starfire looked at Barber and spoke once more. How goes your training, friend Shida? It's different, but at least it's not driving me stir crazy. Cory was a bit confused by that, but she hardly lost her humor or her good nature, something that was a bit surprising for Barber, but in truth she had begun to like it. They were soon joined by Raven, who was rather calm while looking at the whole scene after looking over from one of her books. She was not there for fun though, as she decided to see just what the fuzz was about, plus see if she could get some training in as well. Anything else that could be said though was cut short when a large plant suddenly appeared from the ground, and when the thing opened up, she saw a face she recognized right off the bat, and apparently the person recognized her as well. Cheetah. Poison Ivy. What the heck are you doing here? In the back of his mind, Naruto felt like slapping himself silly, as he now had to deal with the fact that Pamela had just arrived to see him right when both Barbara and Cory were in the area along with Raven, and while he knew that neither Pamela or Barbara had met in person, they should know who the other was by reputation as well as the old newscast. So now he had to explain just what was going on here to them before things would get out of hand. Namely, since Cory might very well mention to the others that Ivy was in the area, namely Batman himself. And the last thing he needed was the Dark Knight breathing down his neck for this, as he was well aware of the animosity between the two of them, and it was the kind of animosity that made things really difficult to forgive or forget. Oh yeah, this just got complicated. Right, well Kit, you really got the short end here. Good news is that all Batman is not around yet. Yeah, well, I guess it's time to deal with the fallout. Thanks for listening. I do hope you enjoyed. If you want the next part of this video, like, subscribe and comment down below, and turn on the bell notification. And also check out other videos that I have created and enjoy. See you in the next video. Peace.